Hello and welcome everyone to Zani Follows channel. I want to talk to you today about the Spider-Man news. If you've heard recently that Sony has been leaked because of the James Franco, Seth Rogen film where they're about to kill Kim Jong-un, apparently the news reports that North Korea or someone working for them uh, hacked Sony and gave out a lot of information. Secrets of the company, if you will. Um, how this relates to me, Spider-Man news. Um, in the Spider-Man news, there's three major things. The first concept is that Sony wants to reboot Spider-Man. They just do. Apparently, Andrew Garfield missed some kind of meeting. This insulted the people, Sony of Japan, so they'd already kind of like wanted to fire him because he's been kind of like a jerk or something in person. But then two, there was also Spider-Man 2 didn't really do so well. This whole Mark Webb series has not really done so well. The reboot series has not taken off the way that they thought it would. Um, so that's just a fact. They want to reboot it. That's what they're thinking about doing. Um, Apparently, Andrew Garfield has been fired since October. That would likely explain why he hasn't really been talking about it too much. Um, Moving on. The next thing is they were thinking about either rebooting it with Sony or rebooting it and giving the rights to Marvel. Um, Letting the Russo brothers, who did Captain America: Winter Soldier, take the helm the project. Um, excuse me. This is a make or break point because it was also released in this wave of information was the knowledge that there is a Spider-Man summit in January for Sony. That's when they're going to decide when they're going to be doing whatever they're going to do with the rest of the series. Now, everything that we heard about comes from way back, information from November and before. There's nothing recent. So whatever they want to do with Spider-Man, they might actually be back on with Marvel, but supposedly negotiations had broken down. Now, a lot of people don't understand what Spider-Man is. A lot of fans think that Spider-Man is supposed to be this person like in the Sam Raimi movies where he was basically a loser and could not even afford like a studio apartment and was just really bad socially. That's not the character. He wasn't a weirdo. He was created by Stan Lee to be the youth that read the comics. He is us. So if you have friends, if you have a girlfriend, if you actually do things with your life, you're Spider-Man. We're all Spider-Man. So it's kind of silly to me that so many fans think that Andrew Garfield was too handsome or too cool. Spider-Man's not a loser. You can skateboard and wear nice clothes and be Spider-Man. That was never the problem. The problem of those movies was that it was heavily influenced on relationships. And the problem with the Sam Raimi movies was that it was too heavily focused on giving him problems. What people want to see with the character, what Stanley created, was he wanted to have a kid that had problems fight and be a superhero. So while Bruce Wayne or Clark Kent, their home life is really it's it, for Batman. It's about the loss of his parents. That's his home life. That is Bruce Wayne. When he comes home after a day of fighting crime, he's running the company, but he's also in this state of just kind of like life isn't really what it's supposed to be for him. He can't ever be happy because he has a mission. Not truly happy. I mean, sure, he can party and be, Playboy Bruce Wayne, and to some degree, he has to like that. But it's a facade for who he truly is. Just like when you're depressed, and, you might be going to parties and you might be drinking or whatever, but you're not exactly happy. I mean, sure, in that moment, you're like, yeah, woo, drinks, and you, like, enjoy it, but it's all a metaphor, is the point. Sony, when they did Sam Raimi, he admitted that he was embellishing. Though that doesn't make it a better movie. That doesn't mean that he was better at creating Spider-Man. He failed too. I mean, Spider-Man 3 happened. He just wanted to emphasize that for his purposes. Fine. Mark Webb wanted to have like a more realistic world. Um, and so we got a lot with Peter and Gwen, but we like it's awkward when you see your friends make out. It's just as awkward when you see your hero kissing a girl, like, or the girl kissing it. Like, it's weird. Um, People don't really tend to want to watch others have relationship things. That's not how it is. Now, I have, like, the old school original, like, comics here. I read these things. That's Amazing Fantasy number 15. Okay? I, I'm not making this up. The character is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to just go on his adventures as he fights criminals. In none of these comics do you see him, uh, sitting around chasing the girl. I mean, that did come into play later, but that's not the core of the character. Marvel's world has been a world of fun. You look at Guardians of the Galaxy, you look at Iron Man, all these worlds are fun. I mean, when you go to the movies, do you want to be depressed? Do you want to see your hero standing over a destroyed city like Superman in DC and Man of Steel? The Avengers, they weren't able to stop the invasion, but they avenged it. They avenged New York. Captain America stopped casualties. He went in and fought the alien. Like, that was the point. They were Avengers. So when there was a little bit of destruction, it made sense. Spider-Man, every single movie ends at a cemetery or somebody dying. In the first movie, Uncle Ben and Willem Dafoe die. In the second film, Dr. Octopus dies. I know there are some, like, fans will come in and say, like, oh, well, officially, I don't know if you know this, but actually, Dr. Octopus lived at the end of Spider-Man 2. Okay, I know that, but, not the point. He died. There's nothing on screen in the film that tells you he lived. He died. Third movie, Eddie Brock dies. The first one, the first of the new ones. I'm sorry, I paused there for a second with the third one because the whole movie was just garbage. So I mean, really, I don't even need to go into that. But there's just a lot of crying in that movie. Someone recorded it. I think there's like 15 to 20 minutes worth of solid crying. If you add in every scene of every character crying in Spider-Man 3, it's like 20 minutes of it. 20 minutes of film time are tears. That's not a movie you want to go see. So then Captain Stacy, and then at the end, the second one, Gwen. So, yeah, everyone dies every movie. That's not exciting, that's not fun. It just reminds you of the bleakness of the real world and, like, sad things that happen. Nobody wants that. Give it to Marvel. The implications of what Marvel will bring will make Spider-Man fun. Kids today will actually know, hey, this character's supposed to be cool. He's supposed to have a good time. He's not a loser or a nerd. Like, it's fun to want to be Spider-Man. Like, that's cool. You know? This is going on 10 minutes, so lastly, I just want to say the importance of Marvel getting it back. Here's my suggestion. Someone once told me, don't nitpick, don't complain. unless you have an alternative. Because what good is opening your mouth if you have nothing to offer? So, my alternative to, or my suggestion for what they should do is Spider-Man should be a kid. In all of the movies, they rush by that. And the first one's with Raimi. He's a teenager, and then he graduates by the end of the film. They're in college, actually, during the first film. If you remember, they have Thanksgiving at Harry and Peter's place while he's going to NYU. So, yeah, they had already graduated. And then in Amazing Spider-Man, they graduate in the second film. So by the second one, the characters are talking about college and everyone's like adults. Um, let's keep Spidey a 15-year-old. Here's why. Spider-Man is a 15-year-old. We don't have to worry about jobs. Or at least not real ones. He doesn't have any real responsibilities, and so therefore he can be Spider-Man. And he can make mistakes. He can screw up, and it's not the end of the world. If he's 15 and he shows up late to work, yeah, Jameson can fire him. It's a lot of quotations, I know, sorry. He can be fired, but it's realistic that, like, he'd be taken back or forgiven. Because he's 15. It's like, he came on as a freelance photographer. There's no age limit for that. Also, can you really be fired as a freelance photographer? So, no, that would be perfect. If, he even has a job at the beginning. School. You're allowed to miss school. You're not going to flunk if you show up late to classes. And you can call out sick. Like, there's ways of getting around it, is my point. In the adult world, if we're supposed to be building a believable cinematic universe, it's not believable that he has a 9-to-5 job and then after work is then swinging around city fighting crime and then somehow wakes up again and like can afford his apartment. That's not real. Likewise, there's no way he would make any sort of money realistically being a photographer. They would have to dedicate a good half an hour to 45 minutes of the film of him like taking photos of like at the tops of buildings and stuff. And really, do we care that much? So it's better for him to be a kid. So make him a kid, and then have him just foiling everyone's plans. Make the bad guys mad at him because he's such an interloper. That makes the Sinister Six coming together make more sense. If you're a grown man who's trying to do something, I mean, sure, it's criminal, but you're trying to get something done, and this little kid keeps showing up and ruining your life, this masked jerk, you're going, I'm dead. Because you're a bad guy. And so, you would all team up, like, just like in the actual comics, you would team up and be like, hey, let's go get this guy. Let's talk names. Dr. Octopus, Electro, Lizard, Dr. Doom, Sandman, Dr. Octopus again, random villains, and Vulture. If Spider-Man's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not only does he get to fight way more people, but we get to see him interact with characters that are kind of outside of the New York realm. He gets to hang out with like Captain America or Black Panther. We get to see him do things. It's important for this character to actually be awesome. We want to see him do things and flourish in this world. It's cool to imagine that if you were a kid and you got superpowers, then you got to travel the world with like your cool superhero heroes. That would be a kid's dream. A lot of kids are coming to see these movies. That would be literally wish fulfillment. So not to let this go on past 15 minutes. That's all I really want to say about that. And thank you guys for watching. Please check out some of my other videos and tell me what you think. Share your comments in the comment section below. Take care.